Hi, it's Maureen, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I am from the United States, and this is January Stampin' Around the World video hop. With this video hop, you get to see the creations of demonstrators from around the world. And this month's theme is travel. So I'll be using the Flying By stamp set along with the stylish shape dies. But before we jump in, make sure you check out the description below for links to the videos from other demonstrators from around the world to see their take on the travel theme. So again, this is Stampin' Around the World video hop, and we are focusing on travel. So for me, when I think about travel, the stamp set that I had that closely related to that was Flying By. So I am going to use this stamp set, and I am going to create a card using the airplane, and you can see my card right here. So I'm going to make the card, and I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to change it up just a little bit, and I want you to help me figure out which one is the better look. So will you like it this way or the way that I change it? So let me show you some of the things that we are going to be using. As I said, we'll be using the Flying By stamp set. We'll also use the stylish shapes dies, and these dies are awesome. I love that they have the different sizes of circles. I'll be using the second circle in, so this one here, that's the size circle that I'll be using for my card. I'm just going to stick it back in there because I already punched it out actually. So right now with Stampin' Up, it is time for Sale-A-Bration. And with Sale-A-Bration, for every $60 purchase that you make, you get to pick something from out of this brochure. There is a section for if you spend $120, and then you can pick something from the $120 section as well. But for the card that I'm making today, I am using something from Sale-A-Bration. I am going to be using the Bloom Impressions 12 by 12 Designer Series paper, and here it is right here. So with this paper, as you know, Stampin' Up's paper is two-sided. One side you can see all the beautiful blooms, and then if I flip it over, you can see the back here, this beautiful green. I'm gonna flip this one over, and then you can see this beautiful color here. I think this is Berry Burst. And then if I flip this one over, that looks like it could be Peach Pie. That's really beautiful. Then look at this one. It's kind of sideways because the grass is growing that way, but you can still get the gist of what it looks like. And then on the back, we have what looks like Summer Splash. I think that's Summer Splash. It's really pretty. And then some more florals here. And on the back, we have, this might be Melon Mambo. Not really sure, it could be Melon Mambo or not. And then I'm going to be using this one here, and this one is Azure Afternoon. So that's what I'm going to be using for my card. But we're going to get right into it. Let me just put this paper down over my glass mat so that you don't have that ring in your face. Okay, so I'm moving that out of the way, and the Sale-A-Bration out of the way as well. So to get started, to create this card, we are going to use 5.5 by 8.5 card base. So it looks like this. I already scored it at 4 1/4. I'm going to fold it in half. And actually, as I'm folding this in half, one of the things that I decided to change, or the thing that I decided to change, was the card base. So I made this one. This card base is actually Blueberry Bushel. And I decided that I wanted to see what it would look like with a white card base. So I'm going to create one using a white card base. But before we put anything on the card base, we want to make this top part here. So I'm going to move that out of the way and get started here. So what I did is I took a piece of basic white, and this measures 4.5 by 3 1/4, and I used the stylish circle shape, and I cut out the center there. And then the next thing that I did is I used the cut and emboss machine to dry emboss this one. So let me do that really quickly. And I did the embossing using the Dotted Circles 3D embossing folder. So I like the circular look. I'm very into circles. You probably know that. But that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to center this with the circle right there in the center, just like that. and then close that, and then put it between these two plates. So plate 4 goes on top, plate 1 goes on the bottom. I'm just gonna run this through really quickly over here, off camera today. Just a moment. And then I'll take that off, open it up, and then this is what you get. So that's what we'll be using. Let me move this out of the way along with this. So next, I am going to layer this onto here, like so. And this piece, I actually did not write down the size for this one, but it is from the Bloom Impressions DSP. It measures at 3 1/8 by 4 2/8. Yeah. And so I'm just going to put some adhesive on around the edge of this. So I'm just going to put some on the side here, on this side, and a little bit here, and there, and then also here. I'm trying to stay away from this part right here just because you can see how narrow this little section is. So I want to make sure it's covered. So I'm actually going to turn this over and layer this way. Just like that. Okay, and then it's on there. All right. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is layer this onto some basic gray. This basic gray is 3 5/8 by 4 5/8. I'm just going to put some adhesive on the back of this. I'm not going to push too hard because I don't want to push my circles in that I just created here, or my dots and circles. And then I'm going to layer that carefully on here with just a little bit of a border, like that. And here's my card base, so I'm going to put it on here. For this part, I am going to use my multi-glue here, my mono liquid glue. Again, so that I'm not squishing anything down. And I'm going to center that on my card base. Just like that, and hold it still because it will slide on you. Okay. All right, I'm going to set this to the side and then do some stamping. We are moving along with this card. So for our stamping, I already put my stamps on the block, so I'm going to be stamping the airplane, and then also the clouds for right now. So I am going to use a scrap piece of paper, and I'm going to use basic gray ink and ink up this airplane and stamp that here. So we have our airplane, and then for the clouds, I want 2 of them, and I stamped them in blue. I know clouds are white, but I did stamp them in blue just to make it more interesting. And I have 2 of them, which I cut out, and I already went ahead and cut these out just to make things move a little bit faster. So I'm going to take that away. I have my airplane here, and then my 2 clouds as well. And I'm going to layer that on here. So what I use next is some mini dimensionals, and this came from one of my kits, probably a paper pumpkin kit. I take the pieces out of there and I do use them for my crafting. So if you have leftover pieces from your paper pumpkin, you should definitely use them with your crafting. They're great too for travel. So if you're taking them to go, if you want to go craft somewhere, you could take them with you. So I put some on, some dimensionals on here. I'm using the mini ones. And I want to take the backing off. And I have this little trash can, which needs to be emptied. It's not a trash can, it's a dish that I'm using as a trash can. I'm gonna stick this one here. And before I stick these on, I do wanna get my little strip and stamp a message here. So I'm gonna stamp my sentiment on this. I'm going to stamp hello. And I wanna do some embossing, some heat embossing. So I'm gonna use my Versamark. And I'm stamping the word hello. I'm gonna stamp it close to the right, over here, and hope it all fits. Awesome. And then we're gonna do some heat embossing. So I have some white detail white embossing powder. This is pretty old. I still have a lot, so I have not gotten more. So it lasts a long time. So if you buy it, you could keep it for years, really. And I'm letting it just fall everywhere, and then I'll clean this later. And I tap the back. And sometimes if there's a little bit left on there, I will get like a little paintbrush and just get the extra bits off so that when I heat it up, there we go, it won't dry there. All right, put this down, close this up. I will clean this later. And I'm gonna get my heat embossing tool, and I hope it will reach over. I've moved my room around. I made some changes here in my craft room, so I'm not sure if everything will reach, but it looks like it is reaching. And I'm just gonna hold this. Let me move these things out of the way. Hopefully everything doesn't go blowing away. That would be awful. If it does, then that'll just, you know, be awful and funny at the same time, I guess. All right, just gonna heat this up and move my fingers out of the way. When it heats, you can see how it gets really brighter, so you can see how white it's getting there. It's fascinating. Almost done. And I typically do it just a little bit longer than I need to make sure it's all heated up. Okay, very nice. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is see how long I want it to be, and then I'm going to cut it. So I think I want it about, so let's see, like that. I'm gonna cut it right there. All right, and I'm gonna put some dimensionals on the back of this. I think I just use regular size dimensionals for this one. Again, from one of my kits, could be Paper Pumpkin, or it could be one of the card kits. I just use them all up. I'm gonna take the backings off. And, ooh, pretty sticky. I'm going to put that here. I like to line up my edges here. Okay, that looks pretty good. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my clouds. I'm going to add it more towards the bottom here like this. So I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on this section here, like right there, just a little bit of adhesive. And then on the other side here, I'm going to put a mini dimensional. I'm just going to say glue dot. It's not a glue dot, it's a dimensional. And I'm going to stick that right there. And then with my airplane, again, I'm going to put some adhesive on this section here. A little bit more. Just make sure if it's sticking out, I can just push it back some. And then I'll put some dimensionals on this end. And I will use a regular size one there. Yeah, one will be good. Almost looks like a shark. Baby shark. All right. And I am going to stick that like so. And it looks like that. Awesome. All right, so the next thing I am going to do is stamp something for the inside. So I want to decorate my inside. So my inside, I have the basic gray is 5 inches by 3 1/4, and my basic white is 4 7/8 by 3 5/8. I'm just going to layer that on there. I think I'm going to stamp first. Just a few things. I'm not going to add a lot to the inside. I'm going to stamp some clouds. So one there, one just under it. And this stamp set also has some little stars, or yeah, I guess they're supposed to be like stars and dots and stars. Put some here and some here. And I'm not going to stamp any kind of a message inside. I figure this, I can leave this blank, and then I can write in there my message to give to someone. And we're going to turn this over, put some adhesive on there, and layer it with just a little bit of a border. Well, it's not completely right. Let's see if I can get that off. Sometimes you can use your bone folder and separate it. So that is what we are doing here. There we go. Look at that. And then I can layer this better by doing it this way. Okay, there we go. And some adhesive on the back of it. I'm going to take this and put this on the inside of the card. Again, I am layering that, or creating a border. And that is pretty much it. I have a couple of things I want to do. I want to add some, these are opal rounds. So I have some that I started. I'm going to use these, and I am going to use the smaller ones up at the top and add one here and here and one down the bottom like that. I also decided, just because I wasn't sure if I was going to add any bling on there, but then I did. I used some Wink of Stella and I colored in these clouds, and that gave it just a little bit of a sparkle. And this is a very nice stamp set. So I use the airplane, but there are other types of travel that you could use. So you could use the flying saucer or the helicopter, or even a paper airplane. It's really a cute stamp set, so for flying by. All right, one more cloud to go. You have to be careful too, because your color will bleed if you go too close to the white, and it'll transfer that blue right over to the white. So you want to be careful with that. But this here is my finished card. This was a super quick one. So I do have one where Blueberry Bushel is the card base, and then this one here where Basic White is the card base. So which one do you like the best? I wasn't sure which one I wanted to do. Started out with the Blueberry Bushel one, but I also wanted to see what it would look like in Basic White. I like them both. I may like this one better. So let me know what you think. Which one stands out more to you? What do you like? Remember, as we are coming to a close, to check the description for the videos for other demonstrators from around the world with their take on the theme of travel. Please give this video a thumbs up to let me know you like it. Share it with friends who are into crafting, and I will see you next month with a whole new theme. So thanks for watching. From me to you, happy stamping. Bye-bye.